Welcome to the Marketing and Mindset Podcast, where we share expert tips for the mind, body, and soul to help your business thrive. Tune in for free marketing or mindset expert training to boost your business. Hello, welcome to Marketing and Mindset. I am so excited to have you here on the Marketing and Mindset podcast. My name is Vanessa Cooper. I'm a Pinterest marketing expert and content creator, and I'm here as always with an expert guest speaker that is going to teach us amazing information and new ways on growing your business, whether it's marketing or mindset related. I'm so happy to have you here today. Today we have Lily Patrascu, who is a book publisher, and it's a new topic that we haven't talked too much about in the podcast. So I'm really excited to have her here to teach us how to market yourselves with publishing a book. So Lily, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here today. If you could share with us who you are, what you do, and how you got started with book publishing.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. I'm Lily Patrascu, and I'm a book publisher, and I create books that transform the world, that will elevate your brand and get you speaking worldwide. And I came to London with €100 in my pocket and 2 suitcases full of hopes and dreams from Romania 18 years ago. And I decided about 8 years later that I was going to publish my first book. And from that moment on, I became a magnet for opportunities. Previously, it was difficult even to find a date, not to mention a proper job. But after publishing my book, it was so amazing how so many people offered me jobs, and I also met my partner, and that I've been with for I would say about 11 or 12 years, 11 years. And he gave me the opportunity to manage his property business that at the time was doing $400K per year. And I managed to take it to $642K per year with the power of a book and some improvements in the look and the image of the properties. And also he had an English school at the time. It was my dream in my vision board to be the director of an English school, and he had one. So I became the director of that school. And I also published a book about how to learn English quickly, which managed to help us to double the price of the English courses. And then much later, I helped my partner to write his book, which was called Climbing Big Ben, How to Survive, Thrive, and Succeed in London. And he used that book in order to close a lot of deals, in order to meet amazing people, and also in order to, close more property deals in particular.
Right.
And then I decided a few years later that I wanted to do this permanently, because, in property, it felt like I had reached a cap in terms of what was possible. And in terms of, because my partner didn't want to have more properties, so it just felt like I reached a cap there. And I really wanted to do something that I loved, which was writing, and also helping people to upgrade their brand through publishing a book. Because when you publish a book, you also upgrade your brand, because you start taking new photos and you look so much more exciting for people. And then because of that, people start to kind of connect with you, and they start inviting you to so many exciting things like speaking opportunities and podcasts, and they invite you to speak abroad, and so many things happen when you become an author. And that's how I started my publishing business. And since then, I'm now collaborating with a celebrity that helped many authors to sell 200 million books in total. And we have a program together where it's possible for an entrepreneur to have a chapter in a book with her and me. And also we're publishing books of people that want to have their own book as well. And it's such an exciting thing to kind of know that a book changed my life, and it can change your life as well if you're an entrepreneur or if you're an ordinary person as well.
That's awesome. And what an amazing story. I'm pretty sure we could devote a whole episode just to hear your story of how you came here with dreams, and just a little bit of money and just blew it up. That's really inspiring. I love that. And, it's so funny because I know people, and I know a lot of people publish books, and, I find a lot of business owners who have books and own books and are talking about their new book, but I don't find too many people who do what you do, who literally help people grow by publishing books. That's your thing, and I think that it's amazing that you do that, that you know so much about it. When you're talking about like, well, just out of curiosity before I go on, how many books have you specifically published? I'm just curious, like, how many books have you published? Do you even have a count, or is it just like an unlimited amount of books?
I think 27
Oh,
so far.
wow.
And those are 27, I mean, for me and other entrepreneurs in total. And
Right.
then if you're talking just me, I think it's 4 or 5. I think 5.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. I always wanted to publish a book myself, but not so much on my business, but more like a nonfiction books. But I just think it's amazing to write. I love writing as well. When you're talking about people publishing a book for their business and growing their business with book publishing, are you talking about a physical, like in-store retail book, or are you talking about like a digital ebook, or is it both that you do?
So I focus a lot on the paperback version, and but I do the ebook as well. I do the downloadable copy as well, because I do think that first, a book is a business card. Second, a book is a way, it's like a lead magnet. It's a way for you to add value to someone, to your desired client. And this is what I believe a book should be. It should be about you adding value to a client. And it's in a way like a teaser of what else you can do. And if you do it like that, I think you can have a lot more clients coming to you, because I think, when you're meeting someone new, it's almost like, it's a bit like dating, right?
Right.
You're not going to ask them to marry initially. You're going to say, okay, let's go for a drink, and maybe you'll buy them a drink. It's kind of a similar concept where you're giving them a teaser around what you know, and because you do, and they love it so much, they want to book you for more stuff. So for example, let's say if you did a book on Pinterest marketing, and then I'm already thinking, just because you mentioned that you're a Pinterest marketer, I'm already thinking, you know what? I haven't yet marketed my books on Pinterest. It would be quite interesting to learn from you, right? So imagine if you had a book on that, then it's like me and clients like me, a lot more of us could discover you, right? And that's because the thing is that you don't know what you don't know. And it's like with a book, you kind of start to, when you meet someone, they're an author, they tell you what they do, and they have a book, you read that book, and it's like, you don't throw a book, you gift a book, you keep it on your shelf, and at some point you read it. And that gives you the opportunity to kind of learn about a particular person that you've just met. And when you need a problem solved around that area, you go to that person, because that's the person you remember. Ideally, if that person has a really good name, like you have a really good, very memorable name, even your name is better than mine, because it's easy to spell, right? Whereas mine, most people don't know how to spell, don't know how to pronounce it either. And even my own clients, like sometimes they don't remember how to spell it. And I am thinking about changing it, because it is so hard to remember, but I do love it anyway.
It is. It's a good name.
Yeah. So the idea is that you need to publish a book that will help you to grow your business. Because a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, I want to write my story. And that's all good. But how about if you were to write a book about your business, something that tells them how to do something in particular, a blueprint, a system of some sort that you used in order to go from, having no money to having more money, or from, from not knowing how to do Pinterest marketing to knowing how to do Pinterest marketing effectively. And you give them, let's say, a system for how to do it, A to Z, or eight steps to do it. And then you break that down into sub steps as well. And that way, when they see that, they're thinking, wow, this lady knows her stuff. I should book her for more things. And that's the idea.
Absolutely. And would you say that's really good? It's all good information, and it's really is powerful. You're setting yourself up as an authority in your niche, really, with your book, by giving them all this value and information. I had asked before, when it comes to digital or physical, and you said, either one, works, that you do physical, but you've had ebooks as well. Do you notice a difference? Like, does one sell more than the other? Have you noticed that? If one's more successful than the other, or it doesn't really matter? Does it just depend on maybe who your audience is?
Very good question. So when you have a physical book and you carry it around with you, ideally the book is not too big. Ideally it's below 200 pages. So you can carry 1 or 2 copies with you when you're kind of, going to networking events or whatever. And I do find that having a paperback copy is a very good way for you to brand yourself. And also, I live in London, and in London, you get to meet a lot of celebrities and influencers all the time. Okay, like, the princess of whatever,
Yeah.
you get to meet a lot of really influential people all the time. And when you have a book, and especially if it's a book that, let's say, it's for your ideal target market, and then you meet your ideal target market, and sometimes you could choose to actually gift it to them, what will happen is you'll get that wow impact. Would you get that same wow impact with an ebook? I don't think so. But people prefer to read in their own way. And also when you go traveling, sometimes you could be, let's say, on holiday for a month in the Philippines or Mexico, whatever. And then you would take your Kindle, or you would maybe decide to read on your phone, on your Kindle app. And then that's another way for people to explore your content. But I think that when you are meeting people in person, it's easier to wow and impress them with a physical copy of your book. And especially because in London in particular, you get to meet a lot of influencers, and there are a lot of influencer events. And sometimes you can gift it to a person, and imagine you gift it to an influencer with millions of followers, and they take a picture with you, and you could actually, if they were really kind, they could put a link of your book there, and all of a sudden you could get book sales for ebook and for paperback copy.
Right.
Just because you had the paperback version. And also you will find that a lot of people, like a lot of speaker agencies, or speaker agents, they will be really impressed because you have a book. And sometimes they will, there also in London, there are a lot of people that organize events, whether it's online or in person. And what will happen is that because you have a book, and especially if you have your face on the cover of a book, it's even more impactful, especially if the cover looks, like a luxury cover, and it makes you look like you are a Rolls Royce rather than a secondhand Volkswagen.
Right.
And what happens then is they could say, you know what, like for example, last week I was offered to speak at this event where Carlos Munoz was speaking, which I actually didn't go, but he is worth $400 million. Okay, so what I'm saying is this kind of opportunities, they come to you when you are an author, because when you are an author, people start saying, come and speak here, come and speak there. And because you went there, some other people will see you. And all of a sudden you're like, your calendar is fully booked with appointments.
Right.
And then if you are really good and really entertaining, which I am, then you get repeat bookings and then you get better with time. Now, I was very boring to start. As a speaker, not just boring. I was actually, my impression of myself was that I was boring. Now that I'm watching, the videos of me, it didn't feel like I was, but at the time I felt like, oh my God, I'm so boring for these people. Poor these, these poor people are just like having to listen to me. And I was like dreading the thought of, poor them. They're just like coping with me, sort of thing.
Right. A bit of imposter syndrome, I'm sure, when you first start,
Yeah, exactly. And what's funny is that I'm watching those videos and I feel like, wow, I wasn't so bad after all, but I really felt like I was terrible. And, you get this confidence with time as well, because just because you wanted to be an author and you became an author, you start speaking at, the first event, and maybe you're really bad or really boring the first time, and it's okay. Other people will still invite you just because they like your profile and they just like who you are and so on. And with time, you become really good, really interesting, really funny, and you become more comfortable being yourself.
Right.
And I think that's another pro of you publishing a book. It's that it makes you confident, because if you take the opportunities that are given to you, and I get a lot of opportunities because of being an author and a publisher, then you will advance so much in your business, because you will get to speak in front of your desired audience.
Right. Absolutely. That's really good. So, I mean, you've really gone through a lot of the benefits on how a book can help you. For somebody who is listening to this and they have never even thought about writing a book, or, it intimidates them, like writing is not their cup of tea, but they have this business and they see the benefits in doing this. how could they even get started in trying to market their business with a book if they've never written something in their life? Let's say this isn't their thing. Is this something where they would have to themselves sit down and write this book? Is it something that they could contract someone to write for them and they give them the information? Does it make a difference if someone's starting off? What's the very first step for them really on getting started with this?
It's a very good question. So people like to learn and they like to do different things based on their learning styles. So there are people who like to write, others who like to listen to stuff, and others who like to do stuff, and others who like to see stuff, right? So, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and, people who like to write. For me, it's easy. But let's say if you're one of the other types of people that prefer an alternative learning style, what happens is that you have to leverage that. And what I mean by that is you can either work with a person who does like to write, and they will be typing up. Like, for example, when I was publishing some of these books, I was a ghostwriter for some of them. And I was kind of like downloading these amazing thoughts of these thought leaders onto paper. And then I was kind of structuring it in a way that it made sense. And I was doing the keyword research, and I was doing everything they didn't like to do. So you could work with a ghostwriter or a book coach to help you to structure your thoughts. This is a really good idea. Now, because you have ChatGPT as well, you could prompt ChatGPT to give you some book ideas, and that way you're not stuck.
Right.
So you ideally don't use that exactly as it gives it to you, because other people could also use it and then publish it in their own book. And then, you would have duplicate content and unoriginal content, and that would be a problem, I think. Although there are some other paraphrasing chatbots and so on that could help you do that. But again, if you used that same content and you put it into that paraphraser, then another person could do that as well.
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend really to risk to kind of publish content that ChatGPT has created. Now, ChatGPT is an AI tool that you can find for free online if you're not aware of that, but I'm sure a lot of people are aware. But you could use it still as a way to give you ideas of what you should be writing, and also sub ideas like the outline of what should be included there, and take that as an idea only and paraphrase it yourself in your own words.
Right.
And then and that is a good way for you to kind of at least get ideas so you're not stuck. And then you leverage a particular system that I would recommend, which is should use story selling and storytelling. And what I mean by that is you tell stories that of people you have worked with, and case studies of people you have worked with, and what kind of results you obtained for them, and what kind of results you, the reader, could also obtain through going through those same steps.
Right.
So you could, take people through that same system that you have helped them go through, and mention the kind of results they had. And in that process, you are selling yourself as well, because you're mentioning that you are good because you help them to get that particular result. So for example, you as a Pinterest marketer, let's say you worked with, 100 people, 1,000 people, you could mention, okay, client A wasn't using Pinterest marketing at all because was not aware of the results that could be obtained. And then she started using, the pins for, furniture or whatever it was that they were doing. And then now they're making, 10,000 pounds a month or however many per month as a result of this particular technique. And people are thinking, wow, that's a good technique. Let me call Vanessa and find out more about this particular technique. And that's the idea, that people need to understand that you are the expert through the fact that you publish this book. And then, but you teach them how to do it themselves. And even though you do it, you'll be thinking, oh, they could just read the book and not hire me. Yes, but most people will not be bothered with that, because they will still need a deeper level of understanding to actually implement that. They will still need a lot more help in terms of the little details of what it takes to do that particular step. They will still need you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because being a Pinterest marketer, something that I push and I encourage for all of my business owners is to have a blog on their website. And the reason I push a blog is the same exact reason I feel that you're pushing publishing a book. You're giving value, you're giving content, you're giving information to your audience. You're setting yourself up as an authority in your niche, so that when people come to you on your blog, they get all that information from you. They see you as an expert, because they're getting all this knowledge from you, and you give knowledge, but you don't give all the knowledge, so that they still need you for your services, for your classes or your courses or your digital products or whatever it is that you're selling. And so similarly, I think that's how you use this book. It's like, instead of a blog that you're constantly blogging on your website online, it's a physical, knowledge value that you're giving to people to also do the same thing, set yourself up as an authority, become an expert in your niche, give value and information to attract your target audience, but not so much that they still don't need you when they think, okay, I read this book, she's an expert, let me reach out to her. So that's really genius. And I really hadn't connected the two until now. Like, this is exactly why I push a blog. It's the same exact idea, just different. So I heard you talking a lot about physical events. Oh, and I actually did want to go back before I ask that next question. For anyone who just listened and you're completely clueless about ghostwriting, she mentioned that term, but essentially is when someone writes something for you, but you are the published author of it. So you take credit for it, and certainly you give them value and content and information to write it, but technically it's somebody else doing the writing for you, just in case you were unsure. But I did want to ask about the physical event. So you help people get started on, publishing books. So let's say somebody, whether they hired a ghostwriter or a book coach, or they finally got this book. What are the next steps? You talked about doing a lot of events. So I feel like public speaking is a big part of marketing this, what are the next steps that you kind of push people to do, that the next steps that they need to be comfortable doing in order to grow their business with a book? Will they have to be comfortable doing public speaking? Is that something that they'll have to at least think about in order to really grow their book sales and their business?
I think that there are multiple ways to promote a book, and some methods could involve not speaking at all. However, my current method does involve a lot of speaking. So I think, for example, I'm an introvert, and it's hard for me. I mean, it was very hard for me to go from being an introvert and being terrified, absolutely terrified of speaking, to now speaking with confidence. It was really hard. And I think that maybe if I had learned in good time, like these affiliate marketing strategies, and, had I implemented everything that was available to me in terms of affiliate marketing, perhaps I would never become a good speaker, because there's so much you can do in terms of, for example, like how you do like Pinterest marketing. There's a lot of it that, maybe you can just like put pins on Pinterest and of books, and then maybe you do ads, or, organically. You could make a lot of sales for your ebooks just without actually speaking. Having said that, what I do, because a book can be a really good branding strategy. So if you want to be someone like Oprah or Les Brown or Tony Robbins, or, someone in your niche that you really aspire to be like, but your own version of that, and to build your own brand. And it really doesn't matter whether you are a musician or an artist or an entrepreneur, then it's a really good idea to write and publish a book that is going to kind of like elevate your brand. And when you do that and you kind of look really awesome on the cover, the cover is luxury, and then you did a book launch, and, the book became a bestseller. And I help people to do that, to become a bestseller in Amazon. Now, once this happened, what happens is that I organize a lot of events in London and also in other countries. And when, let's say, I organize even a small event of, let's say, 50 people, I organize a small event every 2 weeks of 50 people at least. And then even if you were to speak there, even if it was for a couple of minutes, okay, what happens is that the people in the audience, many of them are entrepreneurs. They have their own business. And the minute they hear you speak, whether you're, you're teaching property or insurance or healthcare, or you're a coach, whatever it is that you teach, they'll be thinking, okay, this person that has just spoken has been endorsed by Lily. And we have this community of speakers and leaders. The community is called Speakers Are Leaders, and also Brand for Speakers Authors, you know? So because this community is endorsed by me and my partner, Harry, then they're thinking, okay, this person, because they're endorsed by Lily and Harry, they are good.
Right.
And because they are good and trustworthy, I'm going to ask them to do business with me. So I'll give you an example. Two of my property author clients, one of them has a mortgage company, another one has properties and wanted to buy more. And one couldn't get a mortgage in London from any of the mortgage brokers, but this person was able to give this other person a £2 million mortgage, you know? So it's kind of like, it's not just about selling books, and it's not just about selling products and services. It's also about getting what you need from the network. And that's what I facilitate. So whether you need a connection for like anything that you need, you know, I could say, okay, you're looking to sell this property or you're looking to sell this product. Okay, let me think of who can help you from my current network. And also the people sitting down that are watching you, even if it's just 50 people, it's not just 50 people, it's 50 important people, 50 influencers. And out of those, at least one will be saying, can you speak at my event as well? Or can you, I don't know, can you promote my product? Or can I promote your product? Or can I don't know, there's so much that could be happening just in one event. But because these events happen all the time, then you have a recurring opportunity to meet people, even if you come just for networking and you don't get to speak.
Yeah.
Because you have the book, and then I display the books at my events. People actually take them. Now, they're not supposed to, but they do take them sometimes by accident, thinking that they're supposed to be free, you know,
goodness.
because I display them, you know.
Right.
And, they get to know more about you, but even if, you know, they just kind of browse through them, they'll be like, oh, I know this person, or I should invite this person to speak at my event, or they'll contact that person directly. So you could end up getting clients without you kind of like knowing what's happening, but you know, it's a recurring thing that happens all the time.
Right. So yeah, so I like that, you know, one, you don't have to be a crazy good writer. You can get help. You can get a book coach. You can get a ghostwriter in order to publish your first book to help grow your business. But also you don't have to do public speaking. You can certainly grow it online and through social media marketing and things like that, where you're not actually in front of an audience. But there's a huge benefit to doing the public speaking and going to those events, which it sounds really beneficial. And it sounds like anyone who works with you specifically to publish their book, you already have so many connections to help them grow that they're really set up for success, which is amazing. We're winding down, so we only have a few minutes left for today. So I wanted you, if you could, just tell us a little bit about how, if someone's listening to this episode and they're like, you know, I think I want to try this. I think I want to publish a book. How do you help people in this process if they decide to work with you? And then also, if you could share with us, you know, any offering for today that I can link in the show notes and just let them know what you're sharing with us today afterwards, that would be awesome.
Thank you. So first, I help them from top to bottom. So if you don't have an idea, or you have an idea about what to write, you come to me and I will tell you, these are the possibilities based on what you actually desire. And then even what you desire can be actually expanded, because what you think is possible is a smaller amount compared to what I believe is possible for you based on what I know that is possible, right? So I will be, you can say, opening your eyes and telling you about, okay, you thought about this? Great. This is a great idea. How about we also do this other thing, which is bigger, and, you know, it will bring a bigger result. And then we'll be looking at your target market. What are the options of what could be possible after the book is published? Maybe you want to also create a course. Then I can do an influencer website for you, and we can do paid ads through social media. And then we can look at doing a joint venture event together, whether it's online or in person. And then you can tell me what other products you have to offer and services. And maybe from my existing network, I could think, okay, I think this is a really good product that could help a lot of people. How about I'll promote that to my list? Because I think it will bring a lot of value to my people. And then we could start partnering up on so many different levels. And after that, you know, like even before you can say the book has any sort of shape or form, I'll be helping you to shape it. So even if you have absolutely nothing, you can say most of the process can be done for you if you have no time and you don't know how to do it. And then the book could be ghostwritten for you and published for you and then promoted for you as well. So that if you really don't have time, there's a lot that could be done for you.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's important to have, for example, a nice virtual background if you're going to do coaching from home, so you can look really awesome, or at least prepare a really nice background at home with like a real background, with a nice sofa or nice flowers or something. I could help you with that.
Right.
So that you look really awesome and you have proper light every time you're speaking, so that you have higher credibility when you're speaking, and that is quite important. And then we'll look at, okay, your social media, what should be changing there, because a lot of people post a lot of irrelevant stuff on social media. So then we could look at, okay, who you could hire, or maybe we could help you, some of our team could help you to do social media management, so we can do posting for you on social media, so that you are not stuck there as well. So you can focus only on your business. Right. And if you want to, get leads, we could do, paid ads through our partners as well. So you can say it's almost like a one-stop shop for kind of getting your business ramped up.
Yeah, that's amazing. It sounds like they can definitely do it all for you're literally doing it all for them. So that's amazing. I love that you do that. You help people with that. Please share with us if there's a link that I'm going to be posting in the show notes, what they can find there.
Yeah, so you can go to lily.global/free. Now, Lily is written Lily, and that's a scheduling link where you can get a free consultation with me of half an hour, where we can look at a strategy for you to write and publish your book, which you can take and use however you would like, or if you need my help, we can continue from there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sure. This was like amazing. That was a lot of information. So thank you so much for packing so much information in the little time that we had today. I think anyone who's listening to the episode who's unsure or, is considering this, I definitely would reach out to you. I'm over here sold, like, man, I think I want to publish a book, because it's really something that I know can help reach a whole nother audience, especially the people who love those physical books to read. There are some people who don't want to read a blog, don't want to listen to a podcast, don't want to read an ebook. They want that physical copy in front of them, and that changes everything for them. So it's pretty amazing what you do. Thank you so much for coming on here today. I really appreciate you sharing all of this knowledge, and anyone who wants to grow their business publishing a book, please reach out to Lily. And I think even if you're unsure of where to even start, I'm sure she'd be happy to have you do that consultation and ask her some questions to see if it's a good fit for you. But thank you again, Lily, so much for being here today. I really do appreciate you coming on the Marketing and Mindset podcast and sharing such value. And hopefully somebody reaches out to you to get started on this. I think it's an amazing opportunity. But I'm going to go ahead and end the episode for today. Thank you guys so much again for listening to the Marketing and Mindset podcast. Feel free to reach out to Lily if you need to. And I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.